Maya. I could hear my own screams and screeches as I watched life flow out of my brother. I didn't even register the cold feeling of metal handcuffs as they were slapped onto my wrists. I was busy screaming my lungs out, struggling to get to his body. Present day. I shake my head a little, as if to dispel my memories of Jonah. But he was such an insurmountable presence in my life. He's not just a memory I can shake off whenever I want to, at least not now that I'm not on lockdown anymore. I'm still haunted by his smile whenever I close my eyes. My usual nightmares are made up of an interesting collection of things that have shaped the woman I've become. But with time, I've come to accept them as an inherent part of me. They are like an insufferable relative, whose presence you dread yet can't help but tolerate. I wake up almost every other night, unable to go back to sleep, my voice hoarse from screaming. It has become a cycle, rinse and repeat. I welcome this familiar sense of unease like an old friend. On this list of my diverse nightmares, none of them scare me more than those cantered on the night of Jonah's death. In the early months of my time in prison, I'd been able to block out memories of Jonah. I never allowed my thoughts to stray to him or what happened on the night that everything went wrong. If I had given in to them, I wouldn't have made it out on the grounds of good behavior. And I would have spent more than a handful of days in solitary confinement. I've been known to raise Cain whenever my temper ran high. But as my release date drew nearer, ironically, my dreams took a darker turn. My nights became plagued with dreams of gunshots and bullet-ridden bodies. Jonah had died trying to save me. I had stupidly raised my gun when we were surrounded by the police. Jonah had thoughtlessly thrown himself in front of me when they simultaneously opened fire. My brother had died execution style. It's a knowledge that I've had to live with for these past years. It's a guilt that I suspect I'll take to my grave. As someone who lived life on the fast track, I'd learned to never have any regrets, no matter the circumstance. But Jonah's death is the one thing I regret with every fiber of my being. If I had not given in to stupidity, Jonah would have been alive and here with me. We probably would have been sent to prison, but I had no doubt that we would have both made it out. I could feel the familiar feeling of panic begin to engulf me. Sometimes the guilt becomes so heavy that I can feel its presence like a visceral thing. It sits heavy on my chest like an overgrown tumor. I cough and pound my chest with my fist multiple times. My vision begins to turn gray around the edges. My lungs seize up, and no matter how hard I try, I can't seem to get enough air to fill them. I stumble blindly into an alleyway and pause to catch my breath. I try in vain to coach myself through breathing exercises. Unrestrained, flashbacks of that night begin to make their way stealthily into my brain. Of all places to have a panic attack, an abandoned alleyway was the worst of them. I squeezed my eyes shut as the repressed memories came flooding in. I could hear the gunshots as clear as day. There were 10 of them. Jonah had dropped knee first to the ground before landing flat on his face. Breathe. In and out. Inhale, exhale. I could hear my own screams and screeches as I watched life flow out of my brother. I didn't even register the cold feeling of metal handcuffs as they were slapped onto my wrists. I was busy screaming my lungs out, struggling to get to his body. Breathe. Oh my God, just breathe. Rough, unforgiving hands held me back. My brother was dead, and I wasn't even allowed to go to his body. I watched as the cops spoke into their radios. To them it was just a regular day at the job. A suspect had tried to open fire, they had opened counter-fire, but another one got in the way. In and out, come on. I fought and struggled to get away from their unrelenting hands. I wanted to yell, "That's my brother, you incompetent jerks." Never in my life had I felt so helpless. I screamed until my voice cracked. When I felt the taser, I welcomed the pain and oblivion it brought, although temporary. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.